Alright, Lee Santo here again, Teaks Firearms Range. Today I'm going to talk about how to grip, getting a proper grip on the handgun. Semi-automatic handguns in particular need a good grip. You need to hold them properly in order to fire and keep them firing reliably. Most problems with the semi-automatic handgun come from the shooter and not the gun. One of the problem areas is the grip. And I'm using a training weapon here today made out of hard rubber to demonstrate the grip. I'll also demonstrate them on a couple of live weapons, unloaded but live weapons, in order to be able to demonstrate that grip. So when I'm looking at the handgun, the grip of the weapon is back here, all right? And this is a depiction of one type of handgun, but commonly they all have a depiction of the grip. If you look at the top of the grip here, this is grooved outward, all right? So this is designed to ride in the web of the hand. So when I'm taking my shooting grip on the weapon, I want to take my hand and make sure that the weapon is all the way up and that this groove, or sometimes we refer to it as the beaver tail, is in the web of my hand, and that there's no daylight between my hand and that part of the weapon. Once I do that, I'm going to close my hand on it. 3 fingers wrap around the bottom. My trigger finger, again following one of those 4 universal rules, stays off the trigger until my sights are on target and I'm ready to shoot. So my trigger finger is going to be in what we call the index position. So I got a firm grip on the weapon, my trigger finger is indexed. If we look at the other side of it, my thumb is up, pointed forward along the weapon, kind of pointed in the same direction I'd want the muzzle to be on this particular weapon system. Alright, so this one's a little bit different depiction here. Again, I'm going to pick up another one of our weapons here. The first thing I'm going to do when I pick it up is check it to make sure it's unloaded. There's no magazine in the bottom. Do my visual physical, make sure there's no round in the chamber. All right, make sure I have a safe direction to point it on, keep my finger off the trigger, let the slide go home so that I can practice my grip here. So I have the same grip on a little bit different type of weapon system here. I've got my initial single-handed grip. I want to bring the 2 hands together and get a good 2-handed grip to be able to operate this weapon system. So I'm going to take my non-gun hand here and place the heel of my hand along the grip frame, allowing me to get as much of my hand on there as I can. So I'm going to place that against the grip frame, the open part of it. I'm going to roll my thumb pointed towards the muzzle, in the same place I would have the target, and I'm going to take all 4 fingers and wrap them under the trigger guard to get a good proper 2-handed grip on this weapon system. Remember, a good firm 2-handed grip will keep this weapon system running reliably because of the nature of the system. It's got to have something to cycle against, so I've got to give it some support so it will operate correctly. So I want a good firm grip, as much of my hands around the gun as I can get, and hold it not crushingly tight but firm, like I was giving a good firm handshake to someone, is how I would want to grip the weapon. Alright, so again, my fingers off the trigger until my sights are on target and I'm ready to shoot. I got a good single-handed grip. I'm going to turn just a little bit here so you can see my gun hand while I'm holding the weapon. I'll be able to extend this and be able to fire the weapon. Real simple for my trigger finger to travel to the trigger to be able to manipulate that. And I keep both hands on the weapon to get a good 2-handed shooting position. So that's kind of the basics of the grip on this semi-automatic handgun. All the way up, 3 fingers around the frame, trigger finger index, bring the other hand over to meet it, both my thumbs, thumb over thumb along the slide, so that I can get that firm, positive grip on the weapon. Now, When we're talking about a revolver, now this is a pretty small revolver here. They come in all sizes, but I want to get a grip on this weapon system. It's a little bit different weapon system, and it's a little smaller. Again, making sure it's unloaded, keeping it pointed in a safe direction. I want to be able to get a good shooting grip on this. Revolver's different because it doesn't have that beaver tail that we talked about, say, on this depiction with the semi-automatic handgun. So this is designed here. This particular one has this piece of the frame. This is where the web of my hand ought to meet the gun. So I place the web of my hand around this thing here, making sure it's nice and high. Again, 3 fingers go around the rest of the grip frame, and my trigger finger's indexed. So I'm good and high on this weapon, so that if I were to extend it out in front of me, I would get a good positive grip. Now, where a grip is going to differ again on this type of weapon system compared to the semi-automatic is on this side of the weapon. When I close it here, I have that good high grip with my trigger finger indexed. All right, I want to bring these together. If I run my thumb out here on this, I end up pushing here, makes the weapon come open, doesn't work real well when I need it to. So I want to add my other hand in there. I'm going to drop this thumb down on this weapon system, take my other hand here, all 4 fingers under the trigger guard, and then I'm going to clamp down on that thumb as opposed to pointing them forward. It keeps it out of the way of the cylinder latch and the rotation of the cylinder. And on a revolver, since it works a little bit different, when these fire, it's not a real closed captured system. There's a little bit of an opening there that allows powder and unburnt lead sometimes to come out the sides of the front of the cylinder. So that's not a place I want to have my hand either when I'm running this type of gun. So I'm going to clamp this down here, and that gives me a good firm two-handed grip on this weapon system to allow me to operate it properly.